Good afternoon, my fellow Raptaudians. Well, in today's video, I wanted to talk about the rapture. A lot of people are talking about a possible 2023 rapture of the church. Now, today is Wednesday, the 28th of June, 2023. And yeah, because I guess many Christians are talking about the rapture, I wanted to give you my update as to when the rapture of the church is going to happen and here are the three remaining feasts that Jesus has to fulfill, or the threefold feasts that are remaining will be fulfilled. Now, some people with the recent YouTube videos are coming out with different theories about a possible rapture of the church in 2023. Others think that the rapture of the church is actually an emotional issue. But let me ask you this question. Does the Bible actually teach that the rapture of the church is an emotional issue? Are there any prophecies saying that the rapture of the church is an emotional issue? And are there any even prophecies? Are there any prophecies saying that the rapture of the church is actually theoretical? No, there are no theories regarding the rapture of the church, and there are no emotional prophecies regarding the rapture of the church. The rapture of the church is prophetic, okay? The rapture of the church, just like I have been telling you for a very long time, is a prophetic issue, okay? It is Israel that will trigger the rapture of the church with its impending and infallible prophecies. Now, let me prove to you why the rapture of the church is not an emotional prophetic issue and why there are no such things as theories regarding the rapture of the church or theoretical prophecies regarding the rapture of the church. There are none. Let me show you why now. If you go to 1 Corinthians 15, verse 52, okay, look what Paul tells us here. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and shall we be changed. Okay, so here we got the mystery of the rapture. Okay, here we got a prophecy regarding the rapture of the church at the last trump. Well, if it says at the last trump, okay, it means that several blasts of the trump will have sounded prior to this last trump. And so, what does this tells us? Okay, this tells us that the rapture of the church in itself, as an event, okay, as an event, is actually the fulfillment of the Feast of Trumpets, okay? So the rapture itself is actually the fulfillment of the Feast of Trumpets. Now, it can happen, the rapture of the church, during Yom Teruah, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. Many Bible scholars will have you believe that the rapture of the church must happen during Yom Teruah or the Feast of Trumpets. Not so. The fact is that we don't have an exact date as to when the rapture of the church is going to happen. The Bible teaches, and I will prove to you in a moment with all the prophecies, the Bible teaches prophetically that, at the end, when Israel finishes rebuilding the third temple, that then there is basically, we Christians are no longer needed here because Moses and Elijah already have the third temple to do the sacrifices and to prophesy for the next 3.5 years. So we are no longer needed. And you need to realize that once Israel finishes rebuilding the third temple, then, the rapture of the church is probably going to happen pretty much afterwards because, the third temple is going to be probably the most important inaugurated building of the 21st century. How so? Because it's biblical, it's big time, it's prophetic, it's the third temple, right? So when you think about this, then you think to yourself, well, Israel is rebuilding this third temple for their Messiah, okay? And you would think then that this grandiose building with, a lot of biblical significance, will need to be, presented, inaugurated, and presented to Israel's Messiah, right? Because this is a big issue, right? It has a lot of significance for the Jewish people. They want to present this temple to their Messiah, so this is very significant. And so I'm not setting a date for the rapture of the church, but by common sense, I would think that once Israel finishes rebuilding the third temple, that when they announce some kind of date for this inauguration, that's when the rapture of the church is going to happen, because then the Antichrist or Israel's Messiah is going to come out talking about peace and safety. Okay, in other words, it's going to be talking about the covenant of Daniel 9:27. And once he talks about peace and safety, then sudden destruction, just like it says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, when they talk about peace and safety, then sudden destruction. But what's going to happen first is that the prophecy in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3, when the man of sin reveals himself, and this is probably going to happen at the inauguration of Israel's third temple, then precisely right there and then, he showed himself, you know, revealing or inaugurating this very significant temple. Then he's going to talk about peace and safety, right? That's fulfilling that prophecy in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, that the man of sin talks about peace and safety, and then bang, rapture of the church, okay? So I just want to finally say that there are no, emotional prophecies, about the rapture in the Bible, nor are there any theoretical prophecies about the rapture of the church. No, the rapture of the church is prophetic in nature. Okay, now I'm on my computer here. Okay, I'm gonna be showing you various Bible prophecies and things like that, and trying to convince you that the rapture of the church is gonna happen once Israel finishes rebuilding the third temple. Okay, now some of you guys are talking about the 5 red heifers. Okay, now I just want to say that I watch Shalom 132 on YouTube. Okay, now Shalom 132 YouTube channel, if you like, is led by this pastor here. Okay, um, and this pastor here is actually, I consider him a very good teacher of the Torah, because when he teaches the Torah, he's not superficial like many pastors teach the Torah. This man here is highly analytical, highly intellectual, and he analyzes the Torah at a very deep level, unlike I have never heard of being done with other pastors that I watch and follow out there on YouTube. Okay, now he believes in a mid-tribulation rapture. I disagree with that. I believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. I don't agree, you know, with everything that he teaches, if you like, but I agree with many things that he teaches now. Not long ago, or actually 9 months ago, he posted this video about the 5 red heifers. Okay, now I watch him because I speak Spanish. Okay, and what he said about these 5 red heifers is that it's actually an abomination, right? Because it was Jesus who fulfilled the law, and he was, the perfect sacrifice lamb. Okay, uh, Jesus had no sin in him, and he's also saying that these are clones as well. Okay, so you know, all of us know that it's actually very difficult to find a perfect natural red heifer. Okay, I'm talking about a natural red heifer. It's the odds are almost impossible, but to find 5 perfectly, unblemished red heifers is kind of like unheard of. So he's saying that these 5 red heifers are actually clones, okay? And because they are clones, he's saying that it's actually a worse abomination because they're supposed to be natural. Now, I believe him, okay, although I don't have any scientific proof, okay? I believe what he's saying because this man here is actually a doctor, okay? He's a doctor or a general practitioner. He's also a surgeon, okay, and a scientist. So this man has the qualifications. to say that, hey, these five red heifers are clones. I believe him, to be honest, although I can't prove it scientifically because we all know how difficult it is to find just one, unblemished red heifer, let alone five. So listen to what it says here on the video. Let me click on it. So it's in Spanish. Urgente, 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 amados ajín, amados alrededor, hermanos, hermanas, de gozo y paz, que el Eterno les bendiga y les guarde. Les habla el doctor Javier Palacios Celorio, Roe de la Keilah, Congregación Gozo y Paz en Tehuacán, Puebla, México. Bueno, miren, el día de hoy el rabinato presentó la vaquilla roja. Atención, la vaquilla roja que marca la bendita Torah. Let me fast forward it for you. La construcción del templo sagrado y la renovación del servicio divino. Y luego invitan a que se unan para la transmisión por televisión y demás. Y sobre todo por Facebook. Eso es increíble, hermanos. Eso es una abominación. Repito, es una abominación. Porque en primer lugar, Yahshua pagó el precio. Y en segundo lugar, la vaquilla es obtenida por medio de clonación, cosa que es pecado. Amados aquí, nada más. Okay, so basically he said that, Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice for us, okay, and that these red heifers are clones, so, it's all an abomination, and so I agree with him, okay. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about the latest regarding these five red heifers, then go to CVN News, okay, and just type this website address on your computer or laptop, okay, www, you got the number 2 here, let me get a close-up, cvn.com, okay, news, Israel, prophetic dash anticipation, mules, unblemished red heifers temple, okay. Now you can always rewind this video so that you can look at this website address, okay. Now, if you just kind of like scroll down, gives you a lot of information here. Just give me one sec. Now, Chris Mitchell interviewed a couple of people here. I think one of them was, give me one sec. One of them was this rabbi who's looking after the red heifers. Okay, but anyway, let's just read through this article here. Okay, Man of Olives, Jerusalem. So this article is actually 4 weeks old now. Okay, 22nd of May 2023. Last September, 5 red heifers arrived in Israel amid great fanfare because some Jews and Gentiles believe red heifers are a key element leading to the building of the third temple. Okay, the heifers are now in a secure, undisclosed location in Israel. Plans include moving them sometime soon to a visitor center in Shiloh, where the tabernacle of the Lord once stood for nearly 400 years. I think it's actually 300 years that the tabernacle was actually in Shiloh, 380, but don't quote me precisely. Now he talks about the book of Numbers. Now, he's saying here these red heifers are now 1.5 to 2 years old. To replicate the ceremony mentioned in the Bible, they need to be at least 3 years old, and within that time span, they cannot have a blemish or anything that will disqualify them for ceremony, even one white or black hair. Okay. Now, according to those working on the project, the ceremony of the red heifer needs to be performed on the Mount of Olives and in a place that will have looked directly into where the temple stood. Pardon me. The land directly east of the Temple Mount, purchased 12 years ago, meets both of these standards. So let's read here. Okay, Rabbi Yitzchak Mamo owns that land on the Mount of Olives. Mamo is with Uvne Jerusalem, a group that preserves Israel's history and works to educate future generations. Okay, so what he's saying, this rabbi who's looking after the Red Heifers, okay, we hope that in a year and a half from today, we can make here in this area the ceremony of the Red Heifer that actually will be the first step to the temple. So a year and a half from now, considering that this article is actually from the 22nd of May, you're looking at late November, okay? So this is very interesting. But anyway, I don't want to keep this video too long. It's already 15 minutes, but I highly encourage that you guys read this article, okay? He's also interviewing here Joel Rosenberg, who wrote about the third temple in his novel, The Copper Scroll. Um, let me see if I can keep scrolling down. Well, the image is getting a little bit blurry, folks. But yeah, they also have this article, this Chris Mitchell, a very good journalist and Bible scholar himself. So yeah, just go to this website here from CVN, okay, and read this article right here, okay. I'm just holding the cell phone so that you can type all this for yourselves and yeah, catch up on all of this. Let me just go back to the Bible here. Okay, now let me give you the third temple Bible prophecies. The first one you will find in Isaiah. I did a video on this. Okay, this is gonna be the prophecy, if you like, that kills any argument. You know, when anybody comes up and says, "Hey, you know, the rapture of the church is gonna happen in 2023," this prophecy here from Isaiah chapter 2, you know, verse 2 kills anyone who says that the rapture of the church can happen in 2023. Okay, you know, let's read what it says. And it shall come to pass in the last days. Okay, whenever you have last days in the Bible, it always refers to the church age. Okay, because we are also in the last days. It's not saying, and it shall come to pass during Jacob's trouble, or it shall come to pass during the wrath of God, which is a tribulation period. No, it doesn't mention the tribulation. Um, it doesn't mention Jacob's trouble. It doesn't mention the millennial kingdom. No, it shall come to pass in the last days, okay? Meaning the church age, that the mountain of the Lord's house, in other words, the third temple, if you like, shall be established in the top of the mountains, meaning on top of Temple Mount, and shall be exalted above the hills. Okay, so the fact that it needs to be exalted, I did a video on this recently, means that the Alaska Mosque and the Dome of the Rock will have to go. You know, how can anybody say that the rapture of the church is going to happen in 2023? I mean, think about it, folks. Uh, do you know how long it's going to take for the Dome of the Rock? Because, you know, this temple needs to be exalted, okay, on top of the Temple Mount, in other words, above the hills. Do you know how long it's going to take for this, you know, Dome of the Rock and the Alaska Mosque to be demolished? It's going to take a little while, isn't it, folks? And also, you know, the third temple also is going to take a little while to be constructed. You know, the first temple that, you know, King Solomon built, I think it took about 7 years. But although technology has changed since then with more than, you know, building, um, you know, processes, if you like, and manufacturing methods, you know, they can probably do this in maybe a year and a half if they work quickly at it. And we only got 6 months left to the end of 2023. So can we really have a rapture of the church and have the third temple fully established by the end of 2023? Of course not. So anybody who comes with any emotional, prophetical, or prophetic theory, or any theoretical prophetic statement saying that the rapture of the church is going to happen in 2023, folks, don't take that to the bank, because if you take that to the bank, your bank manager is going to kick you out of the bank saying, no, don't invest your money here because you're not going to get any profit. Okay, so that kills the argument if anybody says to you that, hey, the rapture of the church is imminent It can happen at any moment. It can happen at any moment. There's not just thing. Uh, the doctrine of the imminency of the rapture of the church. It's wrong. I'm trying to say that it's just non-existent. Basically, it's just a fable. That's all it is. It's just a fable invented by since the early church age. Okay, because even 100 years ago, Bible scholars were saying that the rapture of the church was imminent. How could I say such heresy? It is heresy because Israel needed to be born as a nation. Israel was born as a nation on the 14th of May, 1948. How can the prophecy of Jesus, this generation shall not pass till all be fulfilled, happen? If Israel, only become a nation in 1948. But yet, many Bible scholars were saying prior to 1948 that the rapture of the church could be imminent at any moment. Do you see how the imminency of the rapture of the church is only a fable and doesn't stack up? Now, let me move along to other prophecies, okay? Now, even the prophecy found in Jeremiah 49 regarding the Elam Bala prophecy, okay? That's also going to come to pass in the last days, okay? So, if we go here to Jeremiah 49, verses 34 to 39, okay? We got the Elam Bala prophecy, and look what it says, okay? But it shall come to pass in the later days, Later days also refers to the church age, okay? We had the Elam Bala prophecy in which Israel had to, annihilate, if you like, arrange nuclear facilities. No, we haven't had that, folks. So how can anybody say in their right mind, okay, that the rapture of the church is imminent and that it can happen at any moment? If these prophecies of Elam and the third temple, like I just showed you previously, had not even come to pass that, And these are Bible scholars who have 20, 30, 40, and 50 years, okay, of Bible experience, and they can't even work this out, you know? Unbelievable, folks. You got to be very careful, folks, who you listen to because, there's a lot of Bible scholars who have many years of experience, but unfortunately, they're not teaching you correctly how the rapture of the church is going to happen, okay? And the rapture of the church is prophetic. It's not an emotional, theoretical issue, nor are there any theories that are prophetic relating the rapture of the church. No, the rapture of the church is completely prophetic. Okay, I'll tell you more in a moment. Okay, let's go now to what do we got here? The Ezekiel War of 38, 39 is also going to come to pass in the last days. Okay, so if you read here Ezekiel 38, after Ezekiel 38, 8, after many days thou shalt be visited in the later years. Okay, so later years meaning the church age. Okay, so the third temple, the Elam Bible prophecy in Ezekiel 38 will come to pass during the church age. So here's another prophecy for you. How can anybody say that the rapture of the church is imminent and that it can happen at any moment when none of the top 5 Bible prophecies that are needed to trigger the rapture of the church have come to pass yet, But yeah, you have all these Bible scholars saying that, oh, it can happen at any moment. Unbelievable, folks. What else have I got for you that I wanted to show you? Okay, Daniel, we'll leave that for the time being. And oh yeah, I already showed you that. Okay, so yeah, folks. So how is this rapture of the church going to happen? And this covenant of Daniel 9:27. Actually, let's go to Daniel. Okay, let us go to Daniel 9:27. Let's talk about the covenant in Daniel 9:27 because this is an area where many pastors don't get it. Okay. So Daniel 9:27. Okay, so just to recap here, where is? Let me see the beginning. Okay, chapter 9. Okay, so Daniel 9:27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause a sacrifice, and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Okay, now basically, how can this covenant be signed by Israel? This covenant of Daniel 9:27. Okay, so you have to realize, folks, that the rapture of the church, like I have been telling you for a long time, um, is gonna happen in a prophetic, okay, I repeat, prophetic, orderly fashion, okay. This is not gonna be done in some kind of crazy, prophetic way. No, it has to be done in an orderly fashion. Now, what can happen first is we might see the prophecy of Isaiah 17:1 coming to pass soon. Okay. Um, and also the prophecy in Jeremiah 49, in other words, the Elam Baba prophecy. Now, either of these two, okay, could be done simultaneously or one at a time. And any of these two could actually trigger the secret word of 38, okay? But before the secret word of 38, 39 happens, then uh, you're going to have either Isaiah 17:1 come to pass first or the Elam Baba prophecy, okay? Most likely, um, the geopolitical is kind of like telling us that we're probably going to see the Elam Baba prophecy come to pass, first. Isaiah 17:1 doesn't necessarily have to come to pass during the church age because it doesn't say so that it has to, but it could come to pass also, during the trib, or even when Jesus touches down at the Mount of Olives. Okay, but maybe more than likely, according to how the geopolitical is right now, you could probably say that it might come to pass, during the church age. And Damascus is actually not very far from the Golan Heights. I think it's only like 250 kilometers or 150 miles, and it could actually come to pass during the earthquake of Ezekiel 38:19. So we are yet to see how that prophecy comes to pass, but for sure, at least the Elam Bala prophecy found in Jeremiah 49 would trigger the Ezekiel war of 38:39. After the Ezekiel war, what you're going to see is that Israel is going to need Temple Mount, right, to rebuild the third temple, because I just showed you that he's been prophesied by Isaiah and Micah. And so um, you will have to think then that, Israel is going to have to sign this covenant of Daniel 9:27 once Israel's, finishes with this secret word of 38:39. Now, um, you know, this covenant would be signed during the church age because not only does Israel need to rebuild the third temple on Temple Mount, then it's also a warning prophecy, okay, for Israel, saying that, hey, you're going to be signing a covenant, okay, and you're going to be getting yourself, into trouble. In other words, you're going to be heading into Jacob's trouble, because this prophecy of Daniel 9:27 and also Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, and Isaiah 28:15, although many Bible scholars will have you believe that they're part of the Olivet Discourse and that they're going to happen during the tribulation period, no, they're going to happen during the church age, at the end of the church age where we are now, because these are actually warning Bible prophecies from God, saying, hey, you're going to get yourself into trouble during the trip. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. And I need to warn you now. I need to warn you now, in the church age, okay, at the end of the church age, before you head into Jacob's trouble, because God has a covenant with the nation of Israel. God loves Israel, and God needs to warn Israel like He always has before they head into the tribulation period. Okay, so these prophecies will come to pass. You know, uh, in the church age. Now, Micah has prophesied this as well in Micah. I'm just flicking the pages now. In Micah chapter 4. Let me see. I think I got a page marker here. Um, just bear with me for 1 second. So Micah has prophesied pretty much the same as Isaiah chapter 2, right? And it says here, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord, okay, the house of the Lord is the third temple, shall be established in the top of the mountains, meaning on Temple Mount, okay, and it shall be exalted. So in the last days, just like Isaiah prophesied, okay, so the plan is, folks, that we're going to see Elam first, very likely, perhaps even Isaiah 17.1. Then we're going to see, this will then trigger the secret word of 38, 39. After this, then Israel's Messiah or the IC will have to, broker a peace deal, if you like, okay, in that the Palestinians will get Temple Mount, okay. I mean, sorry, the Palestinians will get, what do you call it? The West Bank, okay, Judea and Samaria, and it's a trade-off, for Israel getting Temple Mount to rebuild the third temple, because quite clearly Israel needs, the Temple Mount to rebuild the third temple, according to Isaiah and Micah. So the Antichrist will broker these, okay, and this is actually the covenant of Daniel 9:27. So all these peace treaties that will be established at the end of the Secret War, okay, they actually form the basis of the covenant of Daniel 9:27. Now, I don't think that the Antichrist will reveal himself whilst all these peace deals are being done when they're establishing the covenant of Daniel 9:27, because if the Antichrist reveals himself, then ban rapture of the church. So this will have to be done secretly, but nonetheless, the Antichrist will need to be involved in this, because he needs to broker this peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians. I mean, to me, this makes perfect sense. And then once Israel rebuilds the third temple, right? Moses and Elijah already have the third temple ready for them to prophesy, and then we are no longer needed. And then you have to think that, hey, this third temple is going to be the most important building that is going to be inaugurated in the 21st century. And then you will think that, hey, Israel will need to present this temple to their Messiah. And that's when you will think by common sense then that he's going to come out on the second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3, that he reveals himself, and then Ben Rapture of the church, when he talks about the peace treaty of Daniel 9:27, when they talk about peace and safety and sudden destruction. Now let me take it to Revelation 11, verse 11, where even when the angel tells John the apostle, to go and measure the temple. Okay, I did a video on this the other day. Okay, and look what the angel says. Look, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple. Okay, he's not telling John the apostle, hey, go and see if there's a temple being rebuilt right now. No, he's saying measure the temple, meaning that, or suggesting that, hey, the temple has already been done, because if he's saying measure the temple, there is a temple there already that it needs to be measured. It's not like he's saying, hey, go and take a look to see if it's been measured or not. Now, why is he saying this? Rise and measure the temple. Okay, why? Because he's saying here, and this is, use this and as if he's saying because, okay, because I will keep power to my two witnesses, okay, that they shall prophesy 1,260 days, okay. So the temple has to be ready, okay, at the end of the church age, just like Isaiah and Micah prophesied. Just show you the previous verses, okay, how it says that the third temple is going to be fully ready and established at the end of the church age. Why? Because, okay, because the two witnesses, Moses and Elijah, need that temple to prophesy exactly for 1,260 days or 3.5 years. So the third temple needs to be fully done and rebuilt at the end of the church age, because the two witnesses, okay, the two witnesses, Moses and Elijah, will will prophesy, okay. He's saying that they are going to prophesy for 1,260 days, okay. So that's why that temple is needed, so that they can prophesy for the 1,260 days. But when is it going to be built? At the end of the church age, just like Isaiah said and Micah. Okay, so you know, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the Lord's house, the third temple, will be built on top of Temple Mount. So for any person out there who's coming out with all these rapture theories in 2023, you really are wasting your time. Anybody else out there who's coming out with any emotional theories regarding the rapture of the church, you're also wasting your time. The rapture of the church, like I just told you at the beginning of the video, is not an emotional or a theoretical issue. No, it's a prophetic issue, because what did Paul prophesy in 1 Corinthians 15:52? Okay, let's go to 1 Corinthians 15:52, and we'll finish the video. Okay. Um, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. Okay. So there you go. And this is a prophecy, the prophecy of the mystery of the rapture. Okay. It's prophetic. There's no theories here or emotional theories regarding the rapture. No, it's all prophetic, folks. So just to end up, I think I said to you at the beginning of the video that I was going to tell you how the next three feasts, how they're going to be fulfilled. Well, the rapture clearly is saying here, according to Paul, that the rapture itself will be the fulfilling, because it's at the last trump. They're actually celebrating the Feast of Trumpets in heaven, okay, at the last trump. And so the rapture is as an event, is actually the fulfillment of the Feast of Trumpets. Atonement, if you like, will be fulfilled, with the two witnesses, Moses and Elijah. They will atone for Israel. They will prophesy to Israel and to say, hey, Jesus is the real Messiah, okay? And Sukkot will be fulfilled when Jesus comes, for the millennial kingdom, if you like, because if you read Zechariah, okay, let's go to Zechariah 14, okay, it tells us how, that everybody has to come to Jerusalem to celebrate, the Feast of Tabernacles with Jesus. Otherwise, they are not gonna get any rain, and they're gonna get the plagues. Okay, so this is Zechariah, okay, 14, 17, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. Okay, and if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, they're not going to have any rain, if you like, and they're going to get the plagues. Just to summarize here, paraphrasing, so we don't keep this video too long. Okay, so and this is because they need to come visit Jesus, if you like, in Jerusalem, so that they can keep the Feast of the Tabernacles. Okay, so the only important feast that Jesus wants to celebrate with us, or with him, during the millennial kingdom, he only wants us to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. In no way Jesus is saying here, prophesying with any of the prophets, that hey, he wants us to keep, the Feast of Trumpets or Yom Teruah, or even Atonement. Okay, he only wants to keep. He only wants to celebrate with him, all of us together. Tabernacles. Okay, so Zechariah really proves to us that when Jesus comes for the millennial kingdom, it will be the fulfillment, of that feast or the Feast of Tabernacles, because all of us are gonna have to come up to Jerusalem, like it says here, to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles with Jesus. Because if we don't, we're not gonna get rain and we're gonna get the plagues. So this proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that the millennial kingdom, that big event for 1,000 years, is actually the fulfillment of tabernacles. So just to recap, when Jesus touches down at the Mount of Olives, he's not going to be fulfilling the next three remaining feasts. All he's going to be fulfilling is actually the Feast of Tabernacles. The rapture itself as an event is the fulfillment of the rapture of the church. The two witnesses, Moses and Elijah, will fulfill on behalf of Jesus the Feast of Atonement. And that's because Jesus cannot come down during the tribulation period, if you like, because he's actually opening up the seals and dishing out God's wrath. So he's actually relying on Moses and Elijah, who represent the law and the prophets, to fulfill atonement on his behalf. And when he touches down on the Mount of Olives, Jesus expects all of us on a yearly basis to celebrate with him or to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So when Jesus touches down, for the millennial kingdom, in the Mount of Olives, the only requirement is for us to fulfill, according to Zechariah, like I just showed you, the only requirement is actually to fulfill tabernacles and not the next three remaining feasts, only tabernacles only. So sorry for keeping this video a bit long, folks. And I just wanted to teach you a few things. Now, this is me here, Scooter Adventures. Okay, that's me here. And if you can, folks, I highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I only got 596. I don't have that many, only 4 in the last 28 days. I'm not very popular, but although I'm not very popular, folks, I have many world first. I'm the first person in the world to have deciphered the rapture of the church. And I have done many biblical decipherings, like I have deciphered for you how Israel needs to rebuild the third temple at the end of the church age and so on. I have like 18 world first or 18 biblical world first, and many other pastors who have 20, 30, 40 years, even 50 years of Bible experience, not even have one. So just be very discerning, folks, as to who you watch out there on YouTube, and learn from people. Learn from those who, you have a gut feeling in that they're actually speaking the truth. They actually study their Bibles and they actually know what they're talking about. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Sorry for keeping this video long, and I'll talk to you guys later.